Hello, and welcome to the Tavern Chat Podcast. This is episode 68. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, the main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. Thank you for stopping by today. Before we dig into today's main meat of the episode, we got a voicemail yesterday from our talk about the AD&D 1E Monster Manual and the Satanic Panic that was going on, especially when it came to demons and devils as described therein. So let's listen to Colin, and we'll be back.
Hello, Eric. Colin Green, Spike Pit here. Satanic Panic, you touched a nerve there for me. I was going to do an episode of it myself at some stage, but the long and the short of it, my whole group got shut down back in the day. I was only 13 or 14 at the time. I didn't know what was going on. Basically, a local church, a guy from the local church spoke to the parents of my friends, and kind of persuaded them that anybody playing D&D was just no good. And as the DM, I kind of copped for the blame. And they just pulled out their kids out of my group, shut down my game, and that was that. I didn't know what was going on, and I've never forgiven them, never forgot it. Anyways, I'll catch you later.
Yeah, Colin, the Satanic Panic was very real back in the day. It didn't matter which side of the pond you were on. It was legit. I mean, I guess if you think about it, the generations were changing, and the older generation, maybe not necessarily your parents at the time, although a lot of times it was, but certainly your grandparents came from an era that did not look for open retrospection on any of this stuff. And as such, you got to figure that the risk to be offended, the risk for them and their sensibility to say this is not good. This is to get my mother's aunt said, it's teaching him how to cast spells. No, it's not. No, believe me. As somebody who at the time investigated enough of those pocket-sized spellcasters handbooks you could find at Barnes and Noble or B. Dalton's. Oh my God, B. Dalton's before Barnes and Noble by me. So you could see Celtic witchcraft and stuff. I peeked into that stuff, and trust me, role-playing games were not instructions. They weren't even a spell list because it was fictional. Now, I'm not saying that these actual quote spell books that I was picking up at the time were legitimate. I'm just saying that people that play RPGs know that what they're playing is fictional. We know it. Those that don't play might not understand that aspect. They might think that we believe it. But just like when you played make believe or cops and robbers as a kid, it was all we knew. It was make believe. You know, if you got shot in cops and robbers, well, first off, you always claimed it's only a flesh wound. No, you did. Nope. You only winged me in my shoulder. I can still. That's what D&D was about. D&D was about taking those make-believe rules and giving you order to it. A resolution so you could say, no, you really were hit, and your imaginary persona is now down for the count, as opposed to arguing back and forth what's going on, because there were no rules. I don't know. In any case, all right, let me pause there and come back with the main topic of the day. So I've been asked over the last, ever since I've been writing creatures, whether they were for Tunnels and Trolls or Swords and Wizardry, on the blog side. I've been asked what my process is. And I've been asked a couple times over the last year. And for the most part, when you're creating creatures, obviously there's a written process to it. But I do think that it's easier to explain the process verbally than to write out my process. So 9 times out of 10, it starts with a hook. Usually a vague concept. Maybe I got an idea of what I want, and I look for the art to find it. And then maybe when I'm looking at the art, I find something that has nothing to do with my hook that's in my head. And I look at a piece of artwork, I go, oh, God, that's what I got to go with, because I have a large collection of stock art, and there's Creative Commons art, and sometimes if I don't find inspiration in my own art, I'll go through like RPG Now and look at stock art that I haven't purchased yet and see if it's something that really strikes me. And I really prefer to use art that I have rights to, so I can share the page, OGL it, and then it's all for the community to play with as they want without restrictions. So occasionally, rarely, I actually have the name of the creature in my mind. And in this case, thanks to our very own con man Ken Whitman, declaring himself a marketing genies, or declaring himself one of the marketing genies, a marketing genie. There was some talk on the blog side and on Facebook that we should have a marketing genie as a creature in Swords Wizardry. So with that in mind, I looked for art. And there's been a discussion going on about Creative Commons art. So I had a few pages up, and I do like the work by David Leroy. It is striking. And he had a shaman. And I looked at his shaman portrait, and I was like, oh my God, this is my marketing genie. And you say, why? How can that be? That doesn't look like a genie. But we're thinking of a genie in a certain Arabian sense, and I'm looking at it in a con man sense. And this was just perfect. So once I decided that this was my marketing genie, then I used the artwork, the picture itself, to inspire the narrative. And the narrative comes before the stat block. And create not just in presentation, but in creation, because the narrative will help define the stat block, and the narrative will help define what makes this creature different than another creature with a very similar stat block. What motivates it? And I always like to come out with, usually it's 2 to 4 paragraphs of narrative that either is a first person perspective looking at that creature from the outside as a tracker or a hunter, or maybe it's just lore, but I want something that it's the hook. So here's the hook. 4 paragraphs. The mystical, magical backwater marketing genie. If one didn't know better, they might suspect they had come in contact with some backwoodsman that had avoided contact with sentient creatures for the last dozen-odd years. But they would be sorely mistaken. No, despite their disheveled appearance and natural odor, there is more here than is seen by the naked eye, or smelled by even the most sensitive noses. The threat of a marketing genie is that one underestimates what one sees. In truth, although quick to engage in conversation, they only make nonsensical statements in an effort to confuse their opponents when engaging in a marketing genie in any kind of discourse. Save or suffer -4 to all actions for 1d6 rounds. Successful save causes rage in the opponent. +2 to all attacks against the Marketing Genie for 1d6 rounds. The main attack of a Marketing Genie is its breath weapon. It can emit a foul odor, causing all within a 15-foot radius to save or be unable to take any action for 1d6 rounds, followed by 1d6 rounds of all actions at -2. In combat, a Marketing Genie prefers flight to fight and will flee combat at the first opportunity. If forced to fight, it attacks as a second-level creature for 1d6 -2 damage, minimum 1 point, and will complain continuously about old football injuries. If one is able to successfully capture a Marketing Genie, it will promise its captor one wish, which it says it will grant when the stars align and the moon is bright and the dew falls at just the right. In any case, a situation that will never occur. Such it is with a Marketing Genie. So now I've got, and I already know it has confusion ability, it has a breath weapon, it's ineffectual in combat, but it's ineffectual in combat doesn't mean that it has low hit dice. It can have higher hit dice and just be poor in combat. So all this will come into play when I stat out the stat block. So that's how I do. If I work from the stat block first, it doesn't. I got to cram it in. I let the natural progression of whatever the creature is going to be happen. You know, theoretically, all one hit dice creatures could, be the same if you don't have little tweaks for them. I let the tweaks evolve naturally in the description. So, Ken, if you're listening, I hope you appreciate this. You're my inspiration. That's a bad attempt to sing an '80s song by me. I hope you all forgive me. I know it's not what you tune in for, but hey, shit happens. I will include the full Marketing Genie on the post that accompanies this. So it's going to be it's going to be a dual purpose post. It's going to share out the podcast and give people the Marketing Genie. Isn't that the way life should be, man? That's freaking awesome. Thank you all for listening. I can't thank you enough. Well, I can thank some people. Anthony C, Sam C, and Laramie W, our new patrons from last week. If you want to back the tavern in all its forms, it's real simple. It's 10 cars tavern .games / Patreon, Patreon. I did that all by memory. Ho ho! I do like the ability to use a link redirector or a link shortener that is branded for the tavern. It's awesome. So again, thanks to those that back. Thanks to all that listen, all that read the tavern, or all that participate in the Discord and Facebook communities. This wouldn't exist without you. Believe me, my opportunities to masturbate are many, being retired, and the last thing I want to do is masturbate my creativity, masturbate my community. That really sounds bad, but I'm just pretty much quoting from a creative writing teacher I had in college. It said, if all you do is you create for yourself, it's just mental masturbation. He goes, there's no point to it. You're not accomplishing anything. If you write for your audience and at the same time satisfy yourself, he goes, that's what you want. That's what your aim is for. Hopefully, I'm not just enjoying myself doing all the podcasts and the blog and the communities, but I'm hoping that you're all enjoying it too, and that your day is better for it. There you go. So just forget about those, like, masturbation images, because, they're disturbing. Explicit for a reason, right? Thank you, folks, for stopping by. God bless. Stay safe. Roll your dice well, high or low, however the case may be. And stop in tomorrow for more insane ramblings of my mind. Later.